None? Okay, good.
I'll grab one. Coach, the defense certainly had, I guess, its share of knocks, throughout the season. But over the last 6 quarters, it seemed like they've really kind of turned the corner, having given up some of those obvious big plays. Can you just talk about the transition or the change that's overcome them over the last 6 quarters?
Yeah, certainly some frustrating moments, some good moments too throughout the season. But when you look at the 3 losses, probably a combination of things, poor communication, both from the sideline and on the field. And I think once that happens and some things hit, I think guys try to maybe go outside and do a little bit extra, not just take care of their job. So we had a little bit of that. And I think we really haven't skinnied down the package, but we do a lot. We've kind of condensed our game plan a little bit and tried to just get back to the basics and really improve on our communication. Like I say, both from the sideline and on the field, I think we're doing a little bit less, and that's helped. And I think guys have bought into, hey, just take care of my job, my responsibility. And I know that sounds a little cliche, but we certainly gained some momentum that second half, and to come back against Boston College, there was really never any panic, and that was nice to see from a coach's standpoint. It was just like, hey, we can get back in this thing, and we certainly did. So I think we built off of that going into Clemson, had a good week of practice, and that win in Death Valley was as complete a game as I've ever been around. Just from the standpoint, other than them taking the 7-3 lead early in the game, we were never, once we retook the lead, we never were really threatened at that point. I mean, we fed off of each other. All 3 phases contributed. Just when it looked like they may get back in the game, we either blocked a kick or the offense scored again, or we got to stop on defense. And it was just kind of methodical from that point on. So, again, to answer your question, I think it was just building upon that win at Boston College. And, again, guys doing their job and trusting each other and improving on the communication part of it. And that led into to Clemson, and good things obviously happened. Now coming off of a bye, again, we've just continued to echo those things. We've had some good practices, and we just want to build on those things going into Stanford and hopefully finish the season strong.
Is it the Boston College that was kind of the changing point? Or was there something that happened that you saw maybe in Clinton and the guys to where that change occurred or manifested?
No, I mean, obviously there's got to be some leadership, and again, not just from the coaches, but within the players, right? And I think, it was a group at that halftime of Boston College that even though we were down, and, I never even realized during the game we were down 20-0. I mean, when that point came out and to realize what our guys kind of just fought back from, I think it was just an inner confidence of, hey, we're better than this. And like I say, nobody really losing their mind at that point. Like I say, it was a confident group at halftime. We felt like we had a little bit of momentum going in there, and we just kind of did our thing in the second half. And I think it proved to everybody, coaches and players, that if we can execute, again, we can communicate, trust our teammates, not try to do too much and go outside of the scheme, whatever phase it is, and get the job done. And like I said, I think that just fed into the week of preparation for Clemson. Going on the road, personally, I've always liked playing on the road, and I think a lot of our players do too. Not that we don't like playing at home. We love our home field advantage, and we love our fans. But there's something to be said about going to a historical spot like Death Valley at Clemson, and we're not many teams have had a lot of success, and it's kind of us against the world, and our players fed off of that. I think you probably saw on social media some of our guys posted the TV shot of game day with everybody picking against us, and I just know from the get-go Monday of Clemson week, there was just a confidence among our guys. We had some frustrating losses. Now you look back on it, the 3 teams that we've lost to are pretty good. I don't think anybody realized when it all happened, how good, SMU, Miami, or Notre Dame would be at this point of the season. That's not to make it okay. We feel like, give those 3 teams all the credit for those wins, but we certainly contributed a lot on our end to those losses. But I just think that we've grown as a team. And like I say, I think that second half, obviously, at Boston College to figure out a way to win that game on the road where it looked pretty bleak early, and then just kind of feed off of that going into Clemson. That's what we want to focus on right now, continue to do those things. Like I said, I feel like we had a really good week of practice last week, taking care of our guys, but yet going out and getting good work in. And I thought yesterday's practice was really good too. So just got to feed upon that, not really focus. Obviously, Stanford, they haven't had quite the season that they want, but I know in our room in here yesterday with the D-line, we just talked about, the off week is giving them a chance to regroup as well, get some guys back healthy, and what they're telling their guys right now is we want to finish the season strong. So take nothing for granted, go on the road, lock arms, and hopefully go get win, number 7.
Historically, it's always been about improving seasons of process. I don't know if it's any harder to motivate teams now, given whether it's social media or anything. You lose a few games to keep them in. What's this team been like to deal with? Because obviously they responded regardless of that.
Well, it's been pretty impressive because, you lose 2 or 3 games and all they hear is, well, now you're out of the conference race. Right, and I guess there's still an outside shot. We're not even talking about that, but hats off to our guys, and really I look to on defense, our leaders, the Gelatis and the Quincy Rileys and the Ramon Purriers and guys like that have really kept it together. And that's what you got to bank on as a coach is your players, the leadership, keeping everybody together, and they've certainly done that. So our guys are motivated to finish this season strong. There's still an opportunity to go win 10 games. Again, we're not talking about that, but that's the collective mindset that we can finish this season strong and do some really good things. And whatever happens, with the extended schedule moving forward, we would obviously have to have a lot of help out there. We're not focused on that. Again, the only thing we can control right now is how we go play against Stanford. But hats off to our players for coming together, because it's easy to get sideways when you lose a few games, especially in today's day and age when all it's talked about is, well, making the 12-team playoff or making the conference championship. And when some of those things go by the wayside, I know we as coaches are talking about, hey, there's still a lot to play for. Our players have bought into that and are certainly, playing this season out to its fullest.
Mark, you guys have faced a fair amount of dual threat quarterbacks, and you'll face another one this weekend. But over the last couple games, you guys have done a lot better when it comes to containing some of these rushing quarterbacks and how much damage they're able to do with their legs. How much more well prepared or prepped are you to handle such quarterbacks now versus, say, in the beginning of the season?
Well, we talked about that. We have talked about that throughout the season. I don't think there's anything that a team can show us right now, either from a quarterback run game standpoint or just from his escapability, because we've seen it from start to this point of the season. It seems like every week we've had dual threat guys, and some are a little different than others. Some want to scramble around and still look down the field to throw the ball, and some guys are going to tuck it and run. And so I do feel like, we've built upon, some of our mistakes earlier in the season of letting guys out. A lot of times we're just going to rush 4 up front and really commit 7 to coverage, and there's a lot more than 4 rushing lanes when you look at it. So they got to work together, and I think our guys have bought into that. We're doing a better job of not running past the quarterback on the edges. I think we're still doing a decent job inside of keeping the quarterback in our rush lanes, but they've got to work together, and that's what you really saw play out, especially against Boston College with Castellanos. There were times, whether they went empty or whether it was just a straight drop back pass, he was looking for an escape lane at times, and I thought our guys, especially in that second half, you could just see some really perfect coaching clips of guys, just all 4 guys working in sync to keep him contained. And then again, that same thing played out against Klubnik and Clemson as well. So again, been a work in progress. This team's going to give us the full gamut of quarterback runs. I think Daniels the quarterback, he's big and strong and fast. He took, had some big runs against North Carolina State, and they've got guys on defense that can really run. So, but the nice thing from a coach's standpoint is when we're practicing these plays right now, our guys are executing our scheme at a much higher level than we were earlier in the season. I think you got 11 guys on the same page, whether it's base defense or we're coming with a pressure, and they know how to fit these things. So cautiously optimistic that we're going to be prepared to its fullest. Now they're going to have some wrinkles. I mean they've had an off week, so that's the chess match that you get into from week to week. But hopefully any adjustments that we have to make are going to be small, and we can get it done and have some success.
Ramon Greer steps on the field this week. He'll set a school record for games played. Just to have a guy in your room like that, where do you quantify how important?
Well, I said for a long time that if Ashton's our most valuable guy, maybe on defense or especially the D-line, if he's our best player, Ramon's our most valuable. And Ramon, I've been a four-down guy most of my career. Now, we jump in and play some odd front. But Ramon is the first guy that I've ever coached in almost 30 years that can play every position and not bat an eye. I mean, last year we were short of 3 techniques, so we started off the season, interior-wise, and then, when we got some, we got helped out with Mason coming back, so we were able to go, back up Ashton on the edge. He's taken that to another level. A few weeks back, when Trammell got banged up a little bit and we just weren't as strong as we wanted to be into the boundary, he bumped out and started playing the Leo position for us. Didn't bat an eye. Didn't take any extra sessions, although he would come in as much as he needs to get up to speed. In our third down packages, he'll bump back down inside and actually play the nose position, sometimes with him and Ashton inside. So can't say enough about Ramon Purrier. Like I say, he's a guy that never really talks a whole lot. He's got the utmost respect of the entire locker room. As a coach, you love people like that. And like I said, he comes to work every day, brings his lunch pail and his hard hat. He's always taking notes, practices his butt off. Like I said, he's done a tremendous job, and that the word tremendous doesn't even do him justice. So we're certainly, excited about these last few games with him. We're going to miss him greatly, as we will these other seniors too, but done a great job for us.
I was asking Jeff about just the travel aspect of this, going from, changing time zones 3 hours behind. But, for the D-line room, what is the routine like, and how important is that to kind of keep things as normal as possible when you have that?
Yeah, I think the only thing, I've looked at the itinerary. We're going to leave out at 10 a.m. Usually we're leaving about 12:30 or 1, so we'll get out there at noon Pacific time, and we're going to try to stay on our own bodily schedule as much as we can. So dinner will be, earlier. We'll put them to bed check. I think will be an hour and a half earlier than it normally is. Get them up. I don't know if we'll get them up earlier, but fairly early. 7 o'clock for a 12:30 kick. So that'll actually be a little bit of sleeping in if you look at it. That's really 10 a.m. from their body their body's perspective. I don't think it'll affect us a whole lot just because we're out and we're playing that game. Like I say, our bodies will feel like it's a 3:30 game. Better than playing at 7 o'clock and it feeling like it's 10 or 10:30 at night. I've done that before. Years ago when I was at Purdue for the first time, we went out and played Arizona, like an 8 o'clock kick out there. And shoot, we got back Sunday morning about 8 a.m. Sun was up. And it's just part of what we deal with nowadays. Like I say, with the expanded conferences and really going coast to coast, something you got to deal with. We're not going to make a big deal about it, as a staff. Our players are obviously smart enough to understand that it's going to be a little bit different. But I think going from East Coast to West Coast, again, they'll probably wake up on their own, before bed check on Saturday. And to us, it'll feel like a 3:30 kickoff. So we'll just really stay in our routine. I don't see a whole lot changing, to be honest with you.
All right, Coach.
Good.
Thank you.